Oh, hello again. Just adjust my hat. 4th of January, Sunday. I'd like to talk about homelessness. That is to say, rough sleeping on the streets of central London, of which I saw the other day when, with a group of people headed by Chester P, the rapper, who's making a film about homelessness, we went out onto the streets on the 29th of December to distribute sleeping bags to the homeless. Even I was shocked. I know central London quite well, but I don't hang around there at night, and I was shocked to see so many people sleeping in doorways and so on. And this is what it's come. London, the city of billionaires and people sleeping in doorways. The homeless, they're there for various reasons. Evictions, mental health problems, drug addiction, alcoholism, or just people that have lost their jobs, down on their luck and can't afford to pay rents in London. Well, we distributed the bags, and I learned quite a bit about it that night. For example, it only takes 3 months for you to become institutionalized on the streets. 3 months, and then that's it. There's very, very lucky to go back on that and start a normal life again. You'll die on the streets. As for me, with my bad chest and my bad back and my various medical ailments, I think I would probably last about a week before I'd be brown bread. So our thoughts should be with the homeless, completely and absolutely. And all these advertisements about don't give money to the homeless are a load of crap. The homeless, even if they do get money, they find it difficult to spend it in shops because they won't be served in the shops in central London. If you're homeless, where do you go to the lavatory? How do you wash yourself? How do you change your clothes? You can't when you're sleeping out on the streets, and you become degraded, and you become less than human, and you are treated as less than human by the police and by drunks and revellers. Do you remember that Tory MP who was asked about the homeless during the Thatcher years? Oh, the people that you trip over when you come out of the opera, he said. Well, that's the attitude our ruling class and our governments, Labour and Conservative, have towards the homeless. They'd rather sweep it away. Now, some homeless people, headed by a group called the Love Activists, did actually occupy a building, an ex-bank, in number 2 Charing Cross Road. They were evicted twice illegally. The last time by a bunch of thugs, probably hired by our mayor, who didn't want the embarrassment of homeless people on the streets or crowded around the streets, getting free food and so on, and staying in the building. Bad for tourism, bad for the New Year's celebrations, bad for the shopping frenzy. And that's why they moved loads of people out of South Moulton Street and Hyde Park. They'll be back there now. Hundreds of people, including families from Romania, sleeping rough in the underpass and in shop doors and shelters and things like that. It's an absolute and total national disgrace. And the police are now taken to confiscating homeless people's goods, their sleeping bags, their worldly goods, their rucksacks and so on. This is what it's come to. There's going to be a march for homeless people, the March for the Homeless. It's going to take place in April the 15th, I believe, and I would urge everybody to go onto it. And remember, homelessness, it could be you. Most of us are just maybe 6 months savings or a couple of paychecks away from homelessness. And with the astronomical rents in London, there's every possibility that you could become homeless tomorrow and join the ranks of the homeless. So don't ignore the homeless now. The homeless have got to be fought for, and they've got to be encouraged to fight for themselves. When the squat was evicted, if this was any other country in the world, Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, there would have been hundreds of people down there to reoccupy it. But there was no one down there. They got no support from the so-called left or the so-called anarchist movement. Nothing at all. And that is a disgrace. It shows that we have no real movement. A movement only exists on the streets and in the factories, if there are any, or the places of work, if you prefer, and the estates. Not on the internet, and not with a little elitist groups sort of debating their political purity. It's completely irrelevant to the rest of the world and to the rest of us. Just one other thing to say. Prince Andrew, yes, paedophile scandals. It's not sex with underage girls, it's statutory rape. And all the establishment, even though it's been plastered all over the papers over the last 2 days, are rushing to defend him. Oh, he'd never do anything like that and so on. Oh, yeah. Well, let's see where this goes. Probably go nowhere. We need bigger scandals. We need the truth of what they've been doing over here. The politicians, the royals, the establishment figures involved in the paedophile scandal. Still, so far, none of them have been named. I will mention one thing. Buckingham Palace. The royals have got 5, 6, 7, 8 palaces, and we have all these homeless. Buckingham Palace has got hundreds of rooms in it, and there's hundreds of homeless sleeping within a mile radius of Buckingham Palace. Says it all, doesn't it? England, 2015. Billionaires and people sleeping on the streets, and most other people in a state of total insecurity. Well, let's finish with this insecurity. Let us hope that 2015 we really do get out onto the streets and we really do make a difference and we really do begin to turn the tide. Because I said in my last broadcast, I don't think I can take it much longer, and I don't think a lot of other people can take it much longer either. So on the 4th of January, I bid you farewell, and as I said in my other broadcast, I'm going to broadcast more often and more instantly whenever anything comes up on the news. So Happy New Year.